Williams veers left, pulls up, looking for the lead, and got it. Jalen Williams, 2 seconds, 1:11.109. Now SGA probing, piercing, spinning, hanging for the lead, and SGA knocks it down. The Thunder finally get the defensive stop, and SGA puts them in front.
I'm Kenrich Williams. You're listening to Topic Thunder.
There's no shot. I've just been talking, nothing. What's up, everybody? I'm sorry. I didn't know that my mic was not on. So, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Top of Thunder podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Hunsinger at Thunder Chat. For your part of the B-League Network, this podcast is brought to you by just me and my failing microphone. So, if you're in the chat, please let me know if you can hear me now. I feel really stupid. I apologize. Got nobody to bounce off of right now. Cohen's supposed to be jumping on here in a little bit, and then maybe somebody else as well. But I think we're good now. Hey, shout out to the people in the chat. We got Shady saying Thunder to F up, and then we got people holding me accountable. We got Euro Thunder saying no audio. Shady, Gala, my boy T, yeah, Topher in the chat. We got Jeffrey. Oh, yeah. And then T's bringing the energy because he can hear me now. I like it. So, anyways, vibes are high, as I was saying to, I guess, only myself in Thunderland because the I'm so sorry, guys. I dropped my mic the other day, and apparently it just keeps going in and out. I'm getting really upset about it, but I think you can hear me now. So, one more time, they're very high. Now the Oklahoma City Thunder have gone up 2-0 in the Western Conference Finals. I've said that at least. All right. Can you guys hear me okay? Is my audio completely crapped out like this? If it is, I'll try putting my AirPods on. If not, I don't know what I'm going to do until I get a new microphone. But assuming you can hear me, I really hope you can because I said the same thing at least 10 times now. The Oklahoma City Thunder have gone up 2-0 in the Western Conference Finals with their more convincing victory than the score really indicates. Victory over the Minnesota Timberwolves, 118-103. In a night that Shai was awarded the most valuable player in the National Basketball Association. A lot has happened since the last time we podcasted. Shai, as I mentioned, won the MVP and did so very convincingly, as much more convincingly than people would have led you to believe in the lead up. Jokic, I think, had 780, 790 compared to Shai's, I think, 910, 915, 918, something like that in terms of total votes. But if you're just looking at the first place votes, Shea, like, I think he had like 79 to Jokic just 21. Like, it was not even close. It was as much of a landslide as you could possibly, as you could have possibly anticipated. And then today, before the game today, it was announced that Lucas Dort finally is getting recognition for his defense. He was named the first team all defense, and Jalen Williams was named second team all defense. So vibes were high going into the game. Obviously, you had a chance to go up 2-0 in the Western Conference Finals, as I said, 25 times. Shea got the MVP on the home court, and I was on shout out Thunder Focus. I'm sure you guys follow him on Twitter. I was on his playback stream with him, watching the game tonight. And one of the things I said, going into it was like, I'm interested to see how they respond to the MVP ceremony, because like what type of energy they're going to respond to that with, because you could get too high, you could get too happy, and it kind of comes out flat. You could, again, like get too high, and then like Minnesota is like using that for fuel, and then you're not able to match their energy. So I feel like OKC did a really good job of like taking Minnesota's best shots. I don't think that, I think the biggest lead Minnesota had was like 4 in the game. Oh, they led by 2 very early in the first quarter. And then the Thunder just never looked back. They never relinquished the lead. The lead ballooned up to 24, as much as 24 in the third quarter. But yeah, man, like the game was great. I believe, let's see here, OKC had 58 to 50 at halftime. So the Thunder had an 8-point lead going into the third quarter. And in the third quarter, we outscored the Timberwolves 35 to 31 points. 35 to 21 points. I apologize. I got a text message there. In a run where Shea was going nuts, Casey Wallace was creating turnovers, making plays. Chet was catching alley-oops, finishing at the rim. Dub was going nuts. And, I've kind of talked about moments in the game. At this point, man, let's just go single large item, because there's a lot to talk about. A lot of things happen in this game. And the very first thing we got to talk about is the MVP himself, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Zeus, if you want to call him that, like the salamander, if you want to throw it back to that. Like, he was everything and more tonight. 38 points, 3 rebounds, 8 assists to only 1 turnover. And he had 3 steals on top of that. Shot 12 of 21 from the field, good for 57%. Hit 1 of 2 from 3. The 1 3 he hit as well was like at the end of the second quarter. Like, it wasn't the last possession, but it was like the second to last possession. Just a nasty sidestep 3-pointer over the outstretched arms of Jay McDaniels. Nothing but net, and it was huge. And it capped off I want to say an 11-point second quarter for Shai. No, I'm sorry. He hit 2 free throws after that to give him 11. But that was a 9 straight points in the second quarter. And then he capped it off with 2 free throws there to end the second quarter. He had 19 points at halftime. Like I said, 11 of those coming in the second quarter. Finished the game, like I said, with 38. So, that gives you another 19. Had 19 points in both halves. Like, dude was on fire. Like, the shots that he was hitting, like, a lot of them were routine, like just get into his spots and just knock it down, nothing but net, like no big deal. Getting to the rim, finishing, through contact, or, just get into the rim and, finishing with finesse. And then there were some other shots, like I think it was I want to say it was like 3rd or 4th make, in which DiVincenzo was guarding him, and he was drifting left to the baseline. And I swear, like, he was off balance, one leg, pulled up, shot it, just went in nothing but net, like smooth as butter. And he was, like I said, he was just absolutely feeling it tonight. It was a night that, obviously he won MVP. It would be easy to come out flat after, experiencing the high, as I was talking about. But, man, he responded in such a beautiful way to getting that trophy. He showed why he was the MVP. You saw a lot of people have discourse about free throws, and ironically enough, like, he shot more free throws tonight than he did the other night. But I don't think that there was any quote unquote controversial in terms of like the foul baiting free throw merchant stuff. I think all of his free throws, like, you could tell, like, on the replay, like, there was clear contact. Like, there's no flopping in these plays. Like, he earned all those trips to the line. And I just got to say, like, you know, as we're about to transition to the next player, as an authority on Shai's player performance compared to the color of his shoes, I think we have a new favorite in terms of the Shai 001 colorways, and that is the Hale Clays, man. Like, the Clays might be his best performance. Like, 38 points, 8 assists, 3 steals, like getting it done offensively, getting it done playmaking, getting it done defensively, was efficient on top of it. I don't know, man. We might have to keep the Clays in rotation all the way through the finals if he's going to play like this. But now, shout out Shai, man. He was just absolutely phenomenal, doing things like an MVP do. And I think he's going to continue to do that. So, yeah, shout out Shai. Next up, the big three, man. Like, we're going to talk about the whole big three. I got to talk about Jalen Williams here, man, because 26, 10, and 5. 26, 10, and 5 from your second option in his third year in the league. Shot 60% from the field, 12 of 20, 2 of 6 from 3. And a couple of those threes were like very timely buckets. When I think one of them came when the Wolves cut it to like 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. And another one was like when it was still a 12-point lead and we pushed it to 15 with the shot. And no turnovers on top of that. Like, Dub was everywhere. He was a force, led the team in rebounding, trailed only Shai in terms of points. And again, like, you know, we talk about how easy it was for Shai to get to his spots and how smooth his jumper was looking tonight. Dub was all that as well. Like, I was talking to Focus, like, you know, a lot of his mid-ranges he usually gets to is from the step back and the pull-up. He had that turnaround mid-range cooking tonight, like absolutely cook mode tonight. I think he scored I think he made 4 of his first 5 shots tonight, and they were all in the mid-range. Then he started getting to the rim. His defense was disruptive as ever, just playing great anticipatory defense. And then, hitting those threes late in the game when, like, we really needed offense because they were trapping Shai so hard. I can't say enough about Dub, man. Like, if that is the Jalen Williams we get for the remainder of the postseason, like, go ahead and give us 3 because I know Shai's going to step up. I forgot to mention this with Shai because the Timberwolves, obviously, game 1, they just ran exclusively man. And whenever you play man, like, you're going to foul more, obviously, because, like, it's just you and that guy. And Shai is that guy. Like, he's unguardable, like, one-on-one. The only way that you can hope to stop him is by fouling him, is by, putting contact on him. So, hey, like, that's one thing. But tonight they played still a lot of man. I think that, they feel like they have good enough individual defenders that they can play man like that. But they also threw in some zone here and there. And as Focus was pointing out, the Wolves zone is not as effective as the Nuggets zone because it feels like they're not as smart or intelligent when it comes to their rotations or how they're supposed to play the zone. But yeah, I mean, Shai was dissecting it, and then late in the game, they started doing the zone and trapping Shai high, like running 2 people at him. And Shai, as he has all postseason, has been making the correct read, has been making great playmaking reads. But there was a couple of times that, like, he would have the ball, he'd circle back out, he'd see the help coming left, and he'd just jet back right before the help could even get there, beat his man and the help defender in order to get to his spot or get to the rim or get to the line. And, that's just another evolution in the Shai's game and another way that he's just unguardable. But, yeah, Shai and Dub, when those guys combine for 64 points, it's a pretty good night. You're probably going to win most of those games. Next up, we got Chet Holmgren, which he had 22 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. They didn't credit him with any blocks, but I feel like he blocked at least 1, maybe even 2. Was only 8 of 17 from the field, 1 of 6 from deep, 5 of 6 from a free throw line. The thing about Chet, man, he was just aggressive. He was very aggressive early on. He got to the line. I think he had 4 free throw attempts in the first half. And he had a lot of looks at the rim. He did very well at the rim, whether it's catching lobs, whether it's finishing off the glass, whether it's showing touch and, like no rim, just like no rim, no glass, finishing through traffic, again, getting to the line, and then going up strong, man. Like, Chet has been just dunking everything this postseason. And, like, listen, like, the appeal for Chet wasn't necessarily his work around the basket, like, where we drafted him. The thing that you wanted from Chet when you drafted him was floor spacing. And, he shot 1 of 6, like, which is not a great percentage, but, like, his willingness to take that shot is going to make the defenses at least pay attention to him. But, man, like, whenever he's just dunking everything in sight, like, you can't ask for a better shot than that. So, yeah, shout out Chet. And at this point in the podcast, I just want to ask the chat, because ever since I unplugged my microphone very angrily, nobody said anything in the chat. So I just want to make sure, can you guys hear me? Am I just talking to myself again? And, like, some of you are just watching me and, like, pointing and laughing? Because if so, please let me know, because I'm at my wit's end if this isn't working. But I'll hang up and listen, as I say. All right, next up on the single wide item, I'm going to give a shout out to Lu Dort tonight, man. He had 9 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. And, anytime Dort can give you any lift offensively, it's additive. It really helps out a lot. In those 9 points, he had 3 of 9 shooting, 2 of 7 from deep. So, like, that's obviously awesome. I'm sorry. But he also had 4 assists. He had 8 rebounds. At one point, he led the team in rebounds until Dub just went, like, absolutely take over down the stretch. But, yeah, those the 4 assists from Dort is just masterful. Like, that's not in his game. Like, that's an evolution in his game that we're seeing, like, real time. And I thought his defense was very good in the first half, specifically. Second half, Ant started to, kind of get away from him. But the things that he was doing to force contests, like to force, like, tough shots, missed shots, and, kind of create turnovers inadvertently, because he only had 2 steals on the box score. I thought he played a very sound game. And nobody's saying anything in the chat after I begged you guys to tell me if you could hear me. So I am skeptical that you can hear me. And I kind of feel like I'm wasting my breath. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep powering through. But please, if you can hear me, say something in the chat. If you cannot hear me, I guess also say something in the chat, but you would know what I'm saying. All right, next up, we talked about Lu Dort. I got to talk about Cookies, baby. We got a shirt for it. Oh, Tierney's joining. He can tell me if he can hear me. This is going to be great. Tierney, can you hear me?
We can hear you. You're
Thank
good.
you. Thank you so
much.
much.
The chat was letting you know. You're good.
Bro, oh my God, my chat was just stagnant the whole time. I just have the influx. I appreciate you guys. I'm sorry.
What is wrong with you, dude? You're not even looking at the chat. Sorry, chat. I was in there with you too. I was trying to tell them. But anyway,
I appreciate you guys.
It's all good. We're good.
Yeah. Tierney, how are you doing, sir?
I'm great. Steve, I think, tweeted, but also put something in our group text about how teams that go up 2-0 are, I think it was somewhere in like the 85 to 90% range of winning a series, which of course does not apply to this team right now because we are not 2-0. We're up 0-0, as we all know. So, I did want to just bring up that stat in the event that we do go up 2-0 because I think that's very promising. So just a great little nugget for everybody if we get to that point. But yeah, a great game from a lot of guys. Yeah, I was listening in a little bit off and on before I hopped on. But yeah, like shout out Dub. He's just like consistently here now. I think he got all of his struggles out in the Denver series. Shea was just doing what a now current MVP should do. Shout out Shea. That was a cool moment today, before the game. Seeing everybody there celebrating with him too. I see there was like that picture of Lou that they got where he like was side eyeing it.
Yeah, that's wild.
The Russ side eye. Very funny. I don't think he meant to do it, but it was a funny photo. But yeah, shout out Shea. MVP, doing MVP things, just as usual. Just ho-hum for him. Almost had a 40-point game. Did have his playoff career high of 38. And yeah, just all around the offense just felt so much. Oh, just from beginning to end felt so much better. And it wasn't a slow start like we've been seeing a lot of these playoff series and playoff games where they kind of are feeling it out. It was pretty much immediately like they were finding the shots they wanted. They were hitting those shots they wanted, which is important. Still went 9 of 33 from three, but did not really feel like it. I guess the threes they hit were just, so much more impactful, but very, very, very solid offensive game.
Yeah, we created a lot of good looks, just wasn't cashing in on them tonight. I'm sorry, I was kind of scrolling through the chat as Jeremy was talking. Shout out you guys. I'm sorry I didn't see your comments. I appreciate y'all tapping in. But joining us from the Batcave, haven't seen him in a minute. Alex Roy, how you doing, Mr. Hollywood reporter, man?
Doing good, man. Doing good. How you guys doing?
I'm doing
Living
great.
the dream.
I hope people can hear me.
Living the dream.
Yeah, I can hear you.
You're good, brother.
Yeah, I know. That was a whole thing. It's a bit now. Go ahead.
Man, 2-0, baby. Oh, I'm sorry. No.
0-0.
How
Alex, we
dare it?
need to be on the same page here as a podcast.
I'm gonna start the bit like Down to Dunk says 2-0, not it's 0-0, baby. 0-0.
You also have to you need to be like
there you
go. Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, man. No, vibes are high. I mean, Shai looked every bit the part of the MVP tonight. I kind of already talked about it, but like it felt like very early on he was getting to his spots effortlessly. He was doing a great job playmaking. And late in the game, like when they started throwing zone, like started doing the trap zone, it was so cool to see his anticipation because he would dribble the ball back out and he'd see the help coming left and he'd just blitz right and blow right by both guys. And like the growth that Shai specifically, but also I guess Jalen Williams and Chet, the big three, like the growth that we saw from them just from what they had to experience in the Nuggets series.
Yeah,
is
so big.
huge. And it's paying dividends in such a huge way.
I think Mark said that tonight post game too about how they had to say something like we had to evolve quick from that Nuggets series, and it's paying off now.
It's not just when you talk about Dub, you talk about Chet. It's not just the Nugget series. I think the beginning of the Memphis series really helped them to kind of gain that confidence they needed to to play playoff basketball because. When Shai was struggling in those first couple of games, regardless of us winning by 51 and 29 the next, in game 1 and game 2 of the first round, Shai was not playing like Shai is playing now. And so we needed those two guys to step up to keep the rhythm of the team, to keep the confidence of the team going. And yeah, they've had their ebbs and flows throughout, the first round and the second round. But I think I think those first 2 to 3 games against Memphis allowed Chet to kind of be like, we can do this. We're good. If Shai has a bad game, we can still step up and we can still bring it, bring what is needed for the team to win and to play this brand of basketball. So I think those couple of games helped them to get that confidence. And I think you're seeing it pay off now because I think they're so confident now. They finally got past Denver that they can go out here and even if they're having a bad game, they can contribute in other ways. And so they know that they can contribute to winning basketball other than just scoring. So I thought they did great. And I thought them stepping up makes it that much more difficult for Minnesota to even have a chance in this series.
Boys, we're going from a solo pod to a quad pod now. I don't know what the screen is going to do. It's going to be the tiniest sliver of everybody, but here we go. We're going to do this for 1, 2, 3. Oh,
hey,
wow.
Even better.
Look at that.
Look at we can move around now. We can go side to side.
Oh my God, so much room. Look at us.
So much space.
Look at us.
Wow.
Shout out 3Con, man. What's up, brother?
Feeling phenomenal, man. 2 wins from the finals, 6 wins from the title. We're feeling great. Best game the big three have played together in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, we've dominated so far. Like it's not really been that competitive. The Wolves made kind of a fake run at the end, but and I don't think they ever brought it within single digits. I think 10 is the closest they got it. It's just, you know, we look great. I think I said this, I think with Alex on the pod, but the Nuggets series was the one that I think I was the most, like, out of all the teams left in the field, the Nuggets were the team I was most scared of. Like, they having Jokic, the experience that they have, because for some reason people are saying we were out experienced by the Wolves when, like, I don't really know. I don't think there was that much different between the second round of the conference finals. It's like, have you won a championship kind of thing more so, or like, you know, getting to the finals. I mean, we've just looked like vastly a better team. Exactly what I felt like was going to happen is happening. We are dominating the turnover battle. Like, they are turning the ball over a ton, and it's just resulting in so many opportunities. We are killing them in transition. I mean, right there at the end, there was a huge swing where they got a steal and they brought him down, and it's like, oh, if they get a bucket here, I think they were going to cut it to, I think they might have cut it to 8 on that possession, and then they turn it over, and then Dub gets the and one, and suddenly it's 12, could have been 13 if he hit the and one, but that right there is like a 4 or 5 point swing. There's just so much more room for error with us than them. Like, we shot poorly from 3, they shot poorly from 3, but we just happen to have one of the best defenses ever that they don't, and it makes it a lot more difficult
and
for
an
them.
MVP.
And officially an
And
MVP
all-
of the NBA, officially.
2 all
the
defensive
MVP.
players.
Yeah, 2 all
Stats.
defensive players. Hopefully 2 all NBA players tomorrow. We'll see if Dub can make it onto that third team. But
I think he does.
I hope so, man. I really hope so. Especially after tonight, he deserves it, man. He absolutely deserves it. But I mean, how about Chet just deciding, hey, I'm going to dunk every basketball that's ever existed?
He figured it out.
Like, I mean, he's been awesome. Like, you saw in the fourth quarter last game and then today, it feels like he's slowed down a lot. Like, he stopped trying to dribble the ball in transition and do all this stuff and get to the rack. He got the ball multiple times and like pump faked, wait for the defender to jump, and then dunked it in. Chet's just been so good. Dub has been so good. Last game it was mainly the defense. This game it was both ends. Caruso got called for fouls. Are people happy now? He fouled out and it still didn't even matter. Shea just absolutely fried the Timberwolves to the point where Jay McDaniels 2-hand shoves him to the ground because he's pissed that he's getting fried.
Wild foul, by the way. That was crazy.
Yeah,
Just a
like,
crash out foul.
you're making a comeback. Like, you're cutting into the deficit a little bit. I don't know. That feels insane to me. So, I mean, yeah, we end up at the point where we are up 21. I think was the biggest lead we had, and they cut it down a little bit.
24.
But I mean, 24. I mean, but they don't have an Aaron Nesmith to go ahead and cut that deficit all the way down and bring it to overtime. And we get out of there with a win, 2-0. We defended home court. Go out there and take at least. Well, it is 0-0 in this series. It's
Yeah,
still
okay,
1-0.
yeah.
Well, we've defended home court to the point where they have not scored on our home
Right,
There you
exactly.
go.
Yeah.
That's like we've won, but also we have not
It's
lost.
a shame.
Therefore.
It's a shame we haven't been able to score.
It's been real rough basketball.
Yeah, it's reached a point where it's a stalemate. It's less so defending home court. It's, you know, stalemating them at home court. And honestly, I heard if you just completely stalemate them 0-0, then the higher seed moves on automatically.
Yeah.
So that's what's happened for us so far.
New
So
rule.
we just got to keep doing that going forward. But yeah, I mean, you can, you know, you take one in Minnesota metaphorically because of course it's 0-0.
Right.
Right. Take one in Minnesota, finish this 1-5. Like, if we can get out of this series unscathed, feeling good, because I think Pacers-Knicks has a lot more to go. I think there's a lot more chaos to happen in that series. Get out of this one, get a little bit of rest before the NBA Finals, and we're looking phenomenal right now. This team, it feels like, have any of y'all play baseball, like growing up or anything like that? Like, when
I was like,
you know how you put like the donut, like the little weight on your bat while you're warming up your swing to make it feel heavier so it's easier to swing? It feels like that after we won the Nuggets series. Like, now that we've gotten
good
away
analogy. Good analogy.
now that we've gotten away from having to play Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon out of all people, it just feels so much easier. Like, the series is not over. I'm not trying to jinx this or anything, but I just felt so much more comfortable coming into this series than going to the Denver one, because I don't know if y'all felt like this, but every time we were every moment that Denver, you know, got a little bit of momentum, I was like, okay, we need to calm this down. We need to slow it up. Like, I got a little nervous. The Wolves are getting momentum, and I am just not shook. I'm like,
that's
okay,
what I was going to
fine.
ask you guys, because when we were down, or when they were down 9, I was like, I didn't feel anything. It was just like, okay, this is not a threat.
Yeah, it really is not, like, it doesn't feel that scary. And there's a difference when you're playing Jokic and what he's capable of with picking apart your defense, and we've got to play 2 bigs and send all this help. Like, Minnesota's got, like, loves to put up a bunch of threes, but Dante DiVincenzo has been really bad here in this series, and I mean, he's been Yeah, Nas can't. And Nas has really struggled
That's
shooting
crazy.
the 3-ball points this season, especially he's
Yeah.
prone to some cold
He's now
stretches, and
0
here in
for
the
12.
playoffs, he's really struggling right now. Jay McDaniels is not a super consistent shooter. He knocked down quite a few. Like we were giving him looks, and he was hitting some of them.
Mhm.
But what did he end up shooting in total? Was it like
4 of 8 from deep, 8 of 15.
Yeah, 4 of 8? I mean,
Yeah.
like that's good. Like that's 50%. You'll absolutely take that. But
He's-
like I mean,
he's
I'm
good.
not like I'm cool with letting him get those threes in the corner because a lot of times there's also a lot of possessions there where we're getting a quick closeout and it felt like he was wide open and he's not taking it. Suddenly the whole possession is blown up because now they need to reinitiate from the corner with Jay McDaniels, which isn't really going to work. Julius Randle got benched.
That
tonight.
was the craziest thing the defense did
Yep.
to the
Yeah.
Minnesota Timberwolves. I
Because-
couldn't believe that.
It's like Randall's been so good all playoffs, but he's now playing a defense that I feel like is specifically built to make him so uncomfortable.
There's
He had a
hands
great game
all
game
over the
one.
place.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. Like with Denver, you have hands all around Jokic, and it makes it more difficult. But he's so good at avoiding those hands and finding open shooters. Anyways, like Jokic is so good at reading all of that. Minnesota doesn't have that level of like game reading and playmaking because Mike Conley kind of makes their offense run. Like they need Mike Conley, but also he can't defend, and we're hunting him, and he's getting cooked in rotations, and he's just small, so they can't have him out there defensively, but they also can't. They need him offensively. Like it creates problems for them. Ant was awesome tonight. Ant was unbelievable, and it still just did not matter at all. Like Ant was amazing. He was probably the second best player on the court tonight behind Shea.
He was nice, but he went like 1 of 9 from 3, and then he just stopped. Like he just stopped like trying to shoot. He would give up what he usually would take as like his threes, like step back threes. And I think part of that is a testament to the defense. Like we were always contesting. There's always a hand in his face. And I think he just kind of got disrupted a lot. But I mean,
I think it's the second guessing too of like, when you see someone attack the paint and there's a rim protector on the roster, and even if they're not really there to the point where you think they can block the shot, like you see guys second guess. Yeah, they have to see like ghosts. I think teams see that against the Thunder. Yeah. I think people see like perimeter ghosts against us where they're like, oh, is a hand coming from somewhere? Is there someone there to contest? Like it feels like you hear something. I think that's kind of what people feel against OKC. At least that's what it looks like because I felt the same way, Tierney, being in the building in game 1. There were multiple times where I thought Ant got that step back and it felt like he had the space, but he hesitated and didn't shoot. I feel like we're making him uncomfortable on the perimeter, and that's what you need to do. Minnesota, their whole thing is they want to get you from on the perimeter. Like they want to, but last game they didn't shoot well, so this game they're like, okay, we want to get downhill and attack, and then we completely walled off the paint. So like, okay, we need to settle for threes, and they start off on fire, and then just didn't really have it. And I thought we did a great job of making them take, because also a lot of these threes are being classified as open. Like they're taking some deep threes, it feels like. Dante DiVincenzo is firing that thing from like 28 feet out, it feels like. Nas Reed, some of those threes are deep. I mean, some of them are in the corner too, and he's just bricking them. Julius Randle's threes, every time Julius Randle got the ball, someone was in his face. He did not get those wide open threes that he stepped into last game.
Yeah, and I think it's really funny. I'm gonna let you guys finish because I got crash in a second. But my last point here about Shea, like specifically, it's so funny, like how different 2 games could be. Everybody was just freaking out, calling him free throw merchant, saying he's foul baiting, saying he's a grifter after this whole game. Like NBA podcast putting out like think piece segments. And then like tonight, he shot more free throws tonight than he did in game 1. And I don't think you could look at any of the free throws and be like, there's not a trip that he didn't earn to the line tonight. Like those were all like legitimate fouls. And
that's the way it is the most of the time. But people just had to watch their first Shea game all season and make assumptions.
Yeah, it's like I tweeted out earlier today, like kind of tongue in cheek, but also like not entirely. Like if you really want to make somebody mad, tell them that Shea actually deserves more free throws because there's an argument that sometimes he deserves more free throws. So, but yeah, fellas, y'all got 3 of you here. I gotta get up in like 5 hours, so.
Now we got you. Hold it down.
Gotcha.
All right, man.
We're gonna go back to our small little spaces.
Oh, Dylan, you jerk.
All right.
Oh, hey, by the way, I have clearance. If we make the finals, I'm there game 2.
Let's go.
And Dylan, you know
So-
what? I think game 2 is the one I was going to head to as well.
Let's
No
go,
kidding.
So everyone get their tickets now.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
we'll
We're
be
making it
there.
happen.
June 8th, baby. June 8th. Let's go.
June 8th.
Yeah.
I'll see you there.
Love
See, it
it.
was
Got to win
See you,
4
man.
more against Minnesota though, but when we do, we will be there.
Yeah,
in the
once we win
finals.
4 against, we probably shouldn't plan this until we win 1 against Minnesota. But
Yeah.
for right now,
Yeah.
I mean, it's 0-0 mentality. We're gonna stick with that. But I don't know how much y'all have talked about. I want to shout out. Obviously, Shea was unbelievable. People make jokes about like LeBron game 1 feel outs. Shea might actually be legit like feel out type of player because it feels like every game 1. I mean, game 1 against Memphis, like we destroyed them, but he like wasn't that great. Wasn't that great against Denver. He turned up a lot in the second half, but like specifically first half against Minnesota wasn't great. I mean, tonight was one of the best playoff games of his entire career. He just obliterated the Minnesota defense. It was 38, 3, 8, 3 steals, 12 of 21 shooting, 1 of 2 from 3. Get to the free throw line 15 times. And again, like I didn't see anybody complaining about Shea's fouls in this one because he was just getting fouled, which is the way it goes most of the time. He just destroyed everybody. But Chet and J-Dub, the growth that they have shown from last year till now is huge.
Mhm.
And I saw someone on the timeline be like, how did Dallas beat this team 4 times last year? Which, first of all, it's not this team. We added Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein, who are big
Yeah,
difference makers.
Big
And second of all, we got experience, and Chet and J-Dub are so much better this year than they were last year. Dub has had his ups and downs, but the highs have been so much higher, and the baseline has been so much stronger because even if he's not giving you a lot offensively, the defense has been so consistent. I mean, he's an all-defensive player now officially, which is very, very, very deserved. I'm so happy he ended up on that team. I was worried somehow because the DPOY votes came out, and J-Dub really wasn't voted for very much. Like he wasn't in that top 10 like you might want to see for an all-defensive player, but I was also like, probably all the Thunder votes went to Dort, so I was a little bit scared, but thankfully they didn't snub him like they did.
I was worried Shea would make it over Dub.
I thought there was a chance.
I think Dub ended up like 8th overall in votes.
Yeah, I think he ended up at 8th in votes, which I will absolutely take that. I think he was all defensive first team worthy, but a lot of great defenders in the league this year. So I'm not going to be upset about it. All it says at the end of the day is all defense on your resume. So Dub ends up all defense, very, very deserved. And then Chet, man, again, it feels like the game has slowed down for both of them a ton. It feels like they're a lot more in control. Really, since Game 7, even though last game he didn't shoot great, I've loved Dub's process since Game 7. Like during Game 7, it felt like he made a point. I'm going to be physical. I'm stronger. I'm bigger than people. I'm going to bump them off their spot and hit that midi, or I'm going to get downhill and finish through contact and bump somebody, or pump fake and then go into their chest and finish because I am just stronger and I have a 48-foot wingspan. And he did that all throughout this game. It started off a lot of the bump middies, but then as the game went on, it felt like more and more he's getting downhill, he's finishing through contact, he's making buckets over outstretched arms. That's the type of player he can be. He has this wingspan, he has this strength. Use it. And he did, even though the shots weren't really going down last game, he was getting to those same spots. Sometimes it's just variance. You're going to have off shooting nights, but I've loved the process from him. And then Chet, same thing. Fourth quarter last game, probably I know that one quarter against Memphis, the third quarter in the big comeback game was huge for him. But overall, combined offensively and defensively, I think that was the best quarter Chet Holmgren has played in his playoff career. Just destroying everything defensively. Offensively, he couldn't miss, getting offensive rebounds, helping us really extend and push it out of any type of reach. And then tonight was in the conversation for the best games he's ever played as a playoff player. Doesn't end up getting any blocks, which feels crazy. I swore he got a block in there. But 22 points, only hit 1 3. But just the interior stuff that he was doing, it's just been so good because he's quicker than Rudy and he's getting downhill. He's turning that corner on Rudy. He's, hitting up. He had that one kind of push shot over Rudy. That was really he did it so quickly that Rudy couldn't even jump. Hit that little turnaround midi. He's in his bag. He's absolutely in his bag.
Yeah. When he's not trying to take the ball at the top of the key and dribble his way in, and instead he's taking one dribble and a spin move. That's when he's his best because he's got such quicker feet than Rudy. He's so much faster than pretty much anyone that's guarding him. That's what he needs to do. I did think his 3-point shooting, his form looked weird. I don't know what that is. I hope he can sort of figure that out. But he didn't really need that tonight because of how deep he could get the ball in the paint and then just use his playmaking skills to just get underneath or over whoever was guarding him.
When Chet's playing like this, when Chet and Dub are playing like this, we are legitimately unbeatable.
Yeah.
If Chet and Dub are playing this well, there's no team in the NBA that can even has a
There's
chance
nothing-
of beating the Thunder 4 times out of 7. It's impossible.
I mean, they scored what did they score? 86 points between the three of them.
So 22,
Tonight?
Yeah.
38. So that's 76 or 80. Or no,
86.
math 86. Yeah,
86, yeah.
Yeah,
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 getting 86
whenever-
points from the big three.
Yeah, it's over.
it's over. I mean, how do you stop it? Like you've got an MVP generational player
And
who can get to anywhere, and then
And I want to say too, like, yeah, I mean, like those two guys in particular, because we saw the zone again tonight, and those two guys were both incredible. Also, Alex Caruso
worst
just
zone I've
popping
ever
midi
seen.
after midi, and yeah, they are not a team because the thing is, they didn't run zone like all season. They
they
not
only run it
seasoned in
against
this.
us.
We were by far the large. I think it was Zach Lowe was talking about. I can't remember the exact ratio, but I think they ran. It was something like they ran like 60 some possessions of zone all season, or something along those lines, and like 56 of those or something like that were against the Thunder. It was like an 80-90% was against us, and you know,
So
like
bad.
and a lot of that was like that last game where they beat us in that big comeback. Like they really started to run the zone, and then everyone's on TV and they're like, "Oh my God, is the zone the way to destroy the Oklahoma City Thunder? Do they stand a chance against it?" And like we just played Denver, who is so smart at executing that zone. They did an unbelievable job. Like that also feels like, you know, we put the donut on the baseball bat and we were swinging it. It's like, wow, this is so heavy. And then we come in and play the Timberwolves, who just were giving Alex Caruso the most wide open mid-range jumper you've ever seen in your life in the middle of that zone, which is where you need to get it to break a zone. But it was just wide open. Like it was like target practice for him. And then we're doing a great job too of driving it off the corner against the zone, and then getting the ball to Chet or Ihart in the middle there, and it's just push shot after push shot after push shot. Like this team, they've learned. You're seeing the experience grow over time. Is basically what I'm getting at.
I was watching the not the regular broadcast, but there's like a second one ESPN does where it's actually kind of funny. 'Cause they do
Legler?
like Legler, and then they do like these hilarious 3D
So
models.
much better.
And just a quick aside, the push on Shea, they replayed it in the like 3D animation, and it glitched out, and Shea like fell, but he like kept falling through the floor, so it looked like they just pushed him to the center of the earth. It was very funny. I need to find that video.
Jay
but
McDaniels was trying to do that.
he pushed him to the core. It was ridiculous. But anyway, that the reason I say is because when I was watching it, there was one particular play where they were running a zone, and Chet like just snuck in front of 3 defenders, and the guys on the broadcast in real time called it out and were like, "Why are they not communicating about Chet right here?" And then they just gets the ball into, like you said, just as a little push shot, and it's 2 points. And it was like, I think it was like Gobert, Ant, and I forget who the third guy was in the baseline, but
Inside,
nobody communicated that, and it was just so easy, and they kept doing that. And what was also crazy about that zone is how long they kept playing the zone before they realized this is horrible, this isn't working. And by the time they kind of went back to man and subsided, or kept the lead from ballooning further, it was like a 15 to 20 point lead, and now the game is pretty much over unless you can put together a crazy shooting performance. So
Yeah.
that just a lot of wild decisions by Coach Finch. That, and then I still honestly don't know why. I get why he was pulled, kind of because he was not shooting well, but to take away like who is probably
your
the second best player behind Ant,
It's crazy.
and who also had like 5 threes the game before in the first half. How do you just like pull the plug so quickly on that?
Oh,
And it's
I
just
think
like
the
a
problem is
team morale thing. Like
we're just such a bad matchup for Julius Randle. Like that first game was awesome from him. He was unbelievable, but he's a player that he's not built for this type of defense. I mean, nobody really is consistently built for this type of defense. But I agree he should have come back in towards the end.
Yeah.
I agree. I think when they brought it down to like 10 or so, I know your guys got you there. Like I guess you take off Naz Reid maybe and you try to go somewhat smaller, but I don't think like Nikhil couldn't come out. You weren't going to take Ant out. Honestly, at this point, Dante DiVincenzo probably shouldn't play as much as he has so far in
that's
this
probably
series.
who he should have.
It kind of feels like Julius Randle is fighting a war with muskets, and we're using drones. Like that's kind of how it is. Like he is like old school dinosaur, back you down, and against this defense, that is not going to work at all.
I was going to use another baseball analogy to be consistent with the theme there, where it's you watch an MLB player hit a home run off of a 98 mile per hour pitch, and then you're just like, yeah, I could do that. And then you try to hit a 98 mile per hour pitch, you can't do it. Like Julius Randle can play that game against a lesser defense, and in general, the Timberwolves can play the style they want and can get away with the zone they did tonight against a less deep team. But now you're playing a much better team than the Lakers, a much better team than pretty much better team than the Warriors. A curryless
Well, you know,
Warriors,
it's
right.
funny. The Wolves almost remind me a little bit of us last year in a way, where after the Mavs series, Presti comes out and says we needed more playmaking. The Wolves, they don't have enough playmaking. They especially against this type of defense. The only way you give the
Outside
Thunder
of Conley
problems
and
is a
Ayton.
ton of playmaking. And like that's kind of the Nuggets where you have Jokic, Jamal Murray knows what he's doing out there, and everybody kind of knows what, like Michael Porter Jr. had and he ended up having a terrible series. Part of that I think is also, of course, the injury,
shoulder,
the
yeah.
injury on the shoulder. But the Nuggets are a team who's like really good at moving the ball and putting the Thunder in rotations, and like Jokic is so good at answering pressure. You have to have talent like that to beat the Thunder. Like you have to be able to beat the doubles and beat the pressure and not give the ball away a million times. How many turnovers did the Wolves end up having today? They ended up having
19,
14.
14 maybe.
only 14. It felt like a million.
But we had 6. That's the thing. 14 to 6.
You can't lose a turnover battle like that and expect to win. Is NBA? I don't know if NBA.com's box score can show me. I'm trying to see
I
I have it on
how many
desktop.
points we got. I was just trying to see how many points we got after turnovers.
think their hope is that next year maybe Dillingham will step up
20
into that spot,
turnovers.
but he's gonna be so ate up on defense, man. It's not even gonna be funny.
Yeah, well, and this is an issue too that they run into sometimes with Rudy, where Rudy is amazing defensively. Like I think they need Rudy. Although today we were getting points in the paint at will. Like it really did not matter if he was out there or
Yeah,
not.
after the first quarter, he was pretty much nothing.
He just can't give them a lot offensively. And this is
Yeah.
where Cat came in last year, where Cat has a much higher offensive floor than I think Julius Randle does.
But they're the same
and it
defensively.
Yeah.
Well, I
And
think
defensively,
think
Cat
Cat's
gave them at
even
least
worse.
a little bit more size. And
Yeah.
Cat's not a good defender by any
No.
means, but sometimes Randle. The issue also though is with Randle specifically, he's very prone to. I mean, I think that play at the end of the first half in Game 1 is a great example where he gets the ball. And he's like, okay, I'm going to hold this until the clock winds down a little
Yeah.
bit, and then Dub literally just
That's
runs
Nick's
over, rips
Randle.
it out of his hands, and he's like, oh my gosh, what just happened? It felt like what we've seen from Randle outside of that first half, like second half Game 1 and tonight, it feels a lot more like Knicks Julius Randle, where there's a lot more mistakes. It's a lot more, I'm going to force this shot as opposed to playing within the flow of things. And I think that's because he's getting sped up. The Thunder speed you up. And I think Ann has done a pretty good job at kind of reading that. And all throughout the playoffs, there's been a lot of great growth from Anthony Edwards in terms of his reading defenses, and he's being sped up, but he's still making the right reads and the right play. It's just that he's not getting rewarded as much because Jay McDaniels isn't shooting well from three, and he's just not a great three-point shooter. Nickeil Alexander-Walker's not really shot super well. He had a really good end of the game tonight, but it's not been a great postseason for him shooting the basketball. Naz Reid is having a huge cold stretch. Dante DiVincenzo not been very good in these playoffs. Like, they did not run the Warriors off the court. I felt like they should have when Steph Curry went out, because their offense was still kind of gross. And like, the Warriors defense is great, but now they're coming into a much bigger challenge with this Thunder defense. And also now, having to also deal with offensively what Shea's capable of, and, all the weapons that we have. And even if we're not shooting the basketball, like, what did we shoot from three tonight?
28%.
9 of 33. 9 of 33.
Bad.
9 of 33, and we ran them off the court. Like, that is the margin of error that you have when you have this all-time defense that generates turnovers the way that we do. You can survive. It's rare that teams win this comfortably in the NBA when you shoot that poorly from three. It just really doesn't happen, because that's the way the game is nowadays. But if you have this defense that can generate so many points off of turnovers and can just stifle the opposing team, then it works. And this Wolves offense does not have enough juice to consistently produce against this Thunder defense. And that's ultimately, for me, why there are some people, kind of worried about this series, and there were a number of media people picking the Timberwolves to win the matchup. But I kept thinking, how are they going to ever score enough to beat us 4 times? I just don't think that they can. We can go really cold, and we can still win a basketball game because their offense is just not great.
I honestly, I'm trying to check the play-by-play here in the third when they did go, because I mean, I already said it. I'm sound like a broken record, but I genuinely think if they did not go to zone in that third quarter, I think they actually had a shot at winning this game, because we won by 15, and in that third quarter, it was like probably like an 8-minute mark where they went to zone, something like that. We were up by 7, and then you fast forward to like 2 minutes left in the third, and it's a 16-point lead. Like that's a 10-point gap right there in like 6 minutes, where you lose by 15. You keep it close. You get it to like 10 in that fourth. And I almost wonder, like, despite everything we've talked about Julius Randle not being able to really play, and how, Ant's not really taking as much threes, and Gobert can't really do much for your offense. Despite all that, we kind of let them, like, if they didn't give us that 6-minute stretch in the third quarter, they could have won this game. Like they were on a decent run. It didn't really feel like it, but they were. And I don't know. I think if you're like a Wolves podcast right now, whoever the version of us is in Minnesota, I think
Timberwolves for sure.
Topic Timberwolves, yeah. They are kicking themselves in the butt about that. And
I don't think it would have been enough.
Shea fouls, they're gonna complain.
I don't think it would have been enough to get them the win, but I do think
it would have been a close game.
Make us think about it.
Yeah, it would have been. They could have had a lucky, shooting stretch down the end, and something could have happened. But they just wouldn't.
Yeah, like the problem is, we were getting going, and they're like, we kind of need to try something. And I just think this Wolves defense is good, but I don't think they have a way to There's no way to consistently slow down Shea. Because I think really the only way to consistently slow down Shea, or at least make him think about it, is to blitz him. But if they blitz him, then suddenly it's like Mike Conley is like, where do I go? Or Julius Randle is like, where do I go? Or it's Rudy Gobert suddenly out on an island, and then someone's driving at him and he's backpedaling, and then someone comes in off the dunker spot. It's just, we're too good of a team because they blitz Shea at the end, like when they were making that comeback,
they're down
and
9.
then he finds Dub for a 3. Or I think he kicked it to Dort in the corner, who then drove and then hit Chet. I think that was when the push shot happened. Like, they were blitzing him, they were trying, but the team has grown to a point where we faced everything at this point. Like, that Timberwolves loss that we had was so big for us. That was
true,
huge.
yeah.
Thank God we lost that game.
This was your own doing, Minnesota. This was your own doing.
Because they threw the zone at us, and we're like, oh my God, we fell apart. We sucked down that stretch. And then all these teams were like, yo, we should throw a zone at the Thunder. And then we faced zone, consistently zone for like a month straight. And we quickly learned how to beat it. And that gave us experience to do it against Denver, who gave us unbelievable experience to now do it against Minnesota, who's not nearly as good or a better defensive team than Denver, but they don't have the same type of ability to execute the zone. I just don't think they have the same type of communication and communicative defenders, the same
the floor,
chemistry the way that the Nuggets do.
And then they can't they can't efficiently hurt you on their offensive end.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, they can generate stops, but we're going to figure it out. The Thunder can figure it out. The thing with the Nuggets is they could generate stops, and then Jokic hits a 3. Or Jamal Murray and Jokic do a 2-man game, and he hits a 3. Or Aaron Gordon hits a 3. Or Christian Brown gets downhill and finishes, and it's like, they have the ability to punish us on the other end. The Timberwolves don't have sufficient ability to punish us. When they win a possession, whether it's zone or man or whatever, they close it out. They're not getting nearly enough buckets on the other end. It reaches a point where we go on a 10-0 run, and then they make a couple points, and then we go another 10-0 run, and suddenly they could trade buckets with us the rest of the game, sure, but it's not going to be enough to come back from a double-digit deficit, especially when we're generating the turnovers like we do, and at the end of the game, when they're trying to come back, they start turning the ball over again. And a stat real quick, I think is absolutely insane. Right now, the Thunder, the differential between opposing turnovers and our turnovers on this finals run, or hopefully it shouldn't be finals run, but I mean, it's 0-0, so we don't really know for sure. But so far through the first 2 games of the Western Conference Finals, right now we have 90 opponents have turned the ball over 91 more times than we've turned the ball over. If that holds, that'll be the best mark in NBA history for a playoff run. And the second best is the 2019 Raptors with a 79. Then it is the 96-97 Bulls with a 72, the 95-96 Bulls with a 69, 2013 Heat with a 66, and the 95-96 Jazz with a 65. All those teams won the championship outside of the Jazz, who lost to that Bulls team that we talked about there. Just crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah, we
also 91
more
more opposing turnovers than we have. That's
crazy.
That's so crazy to wrap
They-
your head around.
It's crazy, but like I don't know what it was in the regular season, but I feel like it's about the same pace. Like if you were to put in the same number of games in the regular season as the postseason, like we've been doing
I can
this
check what ours.
the whole
We
time.
have been doing this, but it's to like
Crazy.
do it in the playoffs when the
Yeah, it's
intensity ramps
better
up, and
teams, yeah.
we're not having like a game against the Hornets where they're
Right.
turning it over 23
Right.
times and we turn
That's
it over
true.
6, and it's
That's
boosting
true.
it. We're playing like good teams over. Like this is the Western Conference Finals, and we just won the turnover battle by like 8,
Mhm.
and it
What
looked,
is-
and it felt like a million.
What
And it
was
was,
the
let's
stat?
see.
What was the
It
stat
was-
in the beginning of the season that we were tracking? It was opponent turnovers and that our steals, or
I don't remember. It was something like that.
Yeah, I think it
I think
was.
Steve was tracking something like that. I
Yeah.
remember. All right, but it's not. I mean, the turnover margin's been, and we're also plus 12 on points off of turnovers, and we won by 15. It's just crazy.
we said
There was a
another
question. Yeah, we set a record. What was the record we set tonight? We always set a record. It
record.
was,
So tonight is combined regular
16
season games and playoff games, winning by double digits. So
Yes,
we are
that's what it
tied
was.
for the record. Next
Yes.
one will be the record will be ours.
I love the record of the game stat. I love when they just put another one up. It's my favorite segment. There was a question in the chat I wanted to get to. It's a little bit of a pivot from RK Anthony. Wanted to discuss the growth of the double big lineup.
We want to
Which
answer
we
this one.
Sure, go ahead, Alex.
So I'm going to answer it from a different perspective than maybe you guys are going to go at it. I'm going to answer it from the perspective of Mark Daigneault. I think Mark has learned how to pivot when he has to, hey, if we're struggling offensively and it's because of spacing issues, then we take, Chet out and we bring in Kaysen, or we bring in Caruso or Isaiah Joe. I think as far as the double big lineup goes, Mark has mastered when to use it and when not to use it. So I think that's for me, that's the answer to that question.
Yeah, we have not seen it a lot.
Yeah.
Chet's been coming out pretty early, and then like coming back in for Art later in that first quarter, which I think makes sense for this particular group. Yeah, we mentioned it before, but the double big lineup in the Denver series was used almost exclusively, and I think that was
necessary.
Was necessary, and I think the growth there is definitely going to help. I don't even know if we need the double big lineup the rest of the playoffs, even if if we do advance. I don't know if you need it against the Knicks or the Pacers.
It's our security blanket.
It's there, but I don't think it's like a big factor moving forward. I think the worst of it is behind us. So
Yeah, the Nugget series was definitely the one where you need the double big. Real quick for reference, we played 12 minutes of double big tonight, and the net rating was a 9.1.
pretty good.
So 9.1 net rating. Yeah, very,
12.
very good.
12 minutes was more than I thought, to be honest.
Yeah, 12
but,
minutes.
yeah.
Offensive rating of 109.1, defensive rating of 100. So
Yeah.
that's where we're at.
Defensive-
So nothing too crazy on the offensive end, but defensively, especially, it was shutting things
Still
down
good.
tonight. Yeah.
I think our best lineups, like our lineups that are just going to do these thunderstorms, are when it's like Caruso in there for either Chet or iHeart. Like those to me always feel like the most impactful, because, and also if you throw in Kaysen in there too, if you have both of them at the same time, then it's just money. But those to me are
actually
like the most
fun thing real
impactful.
quick. What do you think was the best two-man duo in terms of net rating tonight? Like which two-man
I
lineup
bet it's
generated the best net
cookies
rating?
and cream. But it's cookies and cream. If I had to wager.
It's cookies, but cream's not
Oh.
in that one.
Mm.
They played
So
10 minutes
Shea-
together.
Shea and
Kaysen?
Queso.
Not Shea.
Chet Kaysen.
Mm-mm.
Dub?
Mm-mm.
Mm. Okay.
Wiggins?
No.
No, they didn't play 10 minutes together.
Dort.
Lou Dort.
One of the
Lou Dort and
starters.
Kaysen Wallace, 10 minutes played together tonight. That two-man lineup had a net rating of 75.8. They offensive
What?
rating of
Net rating?
166.7, defensive rating of 90.9.
I love reading net ratings that are like 10 minutes.
Yeah, super
So,
small sample size net
super
ratings are
small.
so fun. For
We want
reference,
75 points there.
oh, there's like one that is higher, but it's the less than a single minute of Isaiah Joe and J-Dub together. Net rating of 200
I love that.
in
It's
that
the
less
best.
than a minute.
If we just
I
play
mean,
them for
no,
48
no,
minutes, we win by 200 points.
But
That's
here's
how
the
math
thing.
works.
So we've played, 96 minutes in total so far?
Mhm.
10 minutes is not a small percentage of that.
Oh yeah, it's not that small percentage of it for sure. Like they were wrecking house. And then this is just Kaysen propaganda. Next highest, 13 minutes of Kaysen and Shea, net rating of 50.
What is the Kaysen?
So-
What's the cookies and cream net rating right now? It's got to be high.
In this is this game in particular, by the way. Like this
Oh,
isn't
okay. I thought that was the whole
anything. This
series.
isn't the whole series so far.
Well,
Today,
damn, that's
actually,
high.
Negative 4.4 in the
That's
53
crazy.
minutes.
That does
yeah.
not feel right.
It doesn't feel right, does it? It's
What
weird.
the hell?
Do you know what
I can
does feel
find
right?
I can find for whole series, by the way. I'll try and look.
A cookies
Yeah.
and cream T-shirt.
Oh, for the game, yeah, I
That's
could
not
see for -4, but yeah, I think the series they're out. Let me pop that up.
The cookies and cream shirt does sound good, Alex. I wonder if you could get
I
one of
wonder
those
if
at
we can. Let me
topichthunder.com or
do a little
whatever
research
link
on the
is.
internet real quick and get back to you guys here.
Yeah.
on that.
I'm gonna find the best net rating lineup we actually have so far.
Oh, also, we have a new shirt. Haven't advertised on this podcast, so I'll do that too.
So the lineup with the best net rating so far of any, we haven't had a lineup. So the starting lineup has a net rating of 2.8 right now in 18 minutes. The double bigs. Then and we haven't played any other lineup like more than, well, you know what lineup's actually been bad. Chet, J-Dub, Caruso, Queso, Wiggins. That one played 7 minutes. It's a negative 34.6 net rating. If that
I
lineup
mean,
was-
that sounds
not
That
great.
sounds like one of
RK.
those lineups where like
We're
Mark
getting some rest.
takes Isaiah Joe out real quick.
Yeah, but
RK in the chat
um,
said our best lineup is Shea, Dub, Chet, Dort, and Kaysen, which I think I believe that.
Yeah,
that makes
that
sense.
is the best one. I was just gonna say that lineup. It feels like whenever it's Chet in at the 5 and then either Kaysen or Caruso in that spot, it cooks.
Mhm.
Yeah, so far 9 minutes of Shea, Kaysen, Dub, Dort, and Chet. 9 minutes, 69.3 net rating. So
Nice.
yeah, nice.
Cream, baby.
Offensive rating of 158.8, defensive rating of an 89.5 when that team is out there.
Wow.
Crazy. Yeah, if you want to get a shirt for, I don't know if we'll be here by the end of the series, but if you get it now, you might. Cookies and Cream is on our website, and we have a Shea MVP shirt that we
The
did.
Shea MVP shirt is so clean.
Debuted. Yeah, very clean. I don't know which one I like more. I kind of like that color, but the white pops a little better. So, yeah, those are available on the website, which I will link to you in the chat if you are here.
Look at
Go
him
and get one
go.
if you can.
Look at him go.
Shout out. I know Chelsea did the cookies and cream. I can't remember who made the SG MVP one.
Caleb, grab it.
Caleb.
Grab it. That's right. Shout out to those guys. Very
I
talented.
just want kind of end it with this as far as like from me because I have to head out.
Yeah, we can wrap up.
Yeah,
I
we've been
think
going now.
one of the things that I said during the preview is that Minnesota has not been stress tested at all whenever with the
No.
Lakers and the Warriors. I think you're seeing now they came into the series with a lot of bravado. They came into the series with a lot of confidence, and I think we are completely breaking their will. And I think if we win Game 3, it's a sweep.
It's I mean, it's definitely a series win in my opinion. If we win, yeah, obviously going down 3.
Because I think what you saw with the Jaden McDaniels shove is just the frustration of like having to guard a player like Shea and having the main responsibility of guarding a player like Shea. And for Minnesota, I don't think it's a good thing that Jaden McDaniels is doing that because Jaden McDaniels has been known to be the type of player that has a lot of anger issues. Like he literally punched a wall a couple years ago and broke his hand before a playoff series. So hopefully he doesn't revert to hurting Shea, like could have happened tonight. But I think it's a series where like maybe one of these next 2 games he'll mess around and get like 2 technicals or something like that and get himself kicked out of the game.
Yeah, the vibes are not
are not good at all. Between that and Julius Randle getting benched, I don't know how you can.
It just feels
can't
like,
even imagine what
again,
they're feeling.
the Wolves reached a point where, like last year, that win against Denver was huge. It was incredible, but this is the second year in a row where they just feel outmatched in the conference finals. But like the Mavs games were close. You know, they lost in 5 games, but it felt close. They just it is 0-0 right now, so I don't want to get ahead of myself. But like the Thunder have felt like firmly the better team through 2 games through this point. The Wolves, I do think, are going to strike back at some point. Like they're going to fight back. It is a really good team. But I do think it comes down to the point where like this Thunder team is just ridiculous. I think it's levels to the point where the Thunder are a historic team. The Wolves are really, really good. And I do still believe they'll take a game at some point in the series. You know, they'll fight back. I don't think we're going to blow them out in game 3 in Minnesota. Maybe we do, but I think they're going to at least, it's going to be closer than it's been the past 2 games. You know, I don't know if we're going to build a 20-point lead again. But I do also believe if we win game 3, the series is over. But I think then it's probably 4. You know, maybe they get a last-ditch win like we saw last year with the Mavs against the Celtics in game 4 in Dallas. And then before they go on to lose in game 5 and the Thunder just win in 5 games. But yeah, I mean, this Thunder team, it really does feel like that Nuggets series locked them in. That was the test. Mm-hmm. It's like, get over this hump and you can, you know, the rest of the way is just a sprint. They just had to get through that last really tough part of terrain in this race, and now the finish line is ahead of them. You've just got to sprint forward, keep playing your ball, and they're going to win the championship. Just do not.
It's flat land from here on out.
Yeah, just don't stumble. There's a few other racers around you. There's Aaron Nesmith ready to hit you with 4 threes in like 2 minutes if you aren't really careful. But this should be, you know, they've got this.
It feels like the Wolves and I think they can one of these 2 next games because it's at home, and I think the role players like Nas and DiVincenzo will shoot better, but it feels like they're going to need above average 3-point shooting in order, and also kind of doing everything else like that has to happen for 4 games, and I don't think that's going to happen because we just saw these 2 home games in Oklahoma City that they were just that it wasn't enough with their shooting.
And it's a problem for the Wolves because they are a very high volume 3-point shooting team.
Yeah.
We give up
50 threes last game. Yeah.
That was the way it was going to work for them is we give up a lot of threes. If they can knock down those shots, they're going to be in these games. But on the playoffs, they have the 5th worst 3-point shooting percentage at this point. They've not shot
11 of 39 tonight.
They took 90 threes between this game and the last. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's funny because at the beginning of the game, it felt like they made an effort, right, to get downhill. And then at the end of the game, you're like, we're just going to put up threes anyways. Like,
chuck it up. Yeah. Let's end with some predictions for game 3. I don't know what the point spread is. I haven't checked.
Tonight, it was, I think, 6.5
game
for us. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Thunder.
6.5 sounds about right.
I would say probably 5 in Minnesota.
Thunder open as 4-point favorites for game 3.
Yeah, 4-point favorites. So I actually think they're going to win game 3, lose game 4. I do like what you said, Cone. I think they'll get like a win out the door and have some great shooting. But I do think we're going to win game 3. I'm going to say Thunder by 6.
I was going to say right around that. I think Thunder by 8. I think they keep this one a lot more competitive. We pull away a little bit, but then they punch back in the 4th quarter, timeout, and like the Minnesota crowd's getting loud, and then we silence them enough at the end to go up by like 6, and then they foul one time. We get a couple free throws, won by 8, and we were up 3-0, a commanding 3-0 lead heading into game 4, and I think we get it done. Game 1 in Minnesota.
A 1-0 lead, but
yeah, it'd be cool to get a 1-0 lead, but who knows? Maybe game 3 ends still 0-0. I don't know how this keeps happening. It's the weirdest plaplayoffs I've ever seen. Because Indiana's up. Indiana's up 1-0, but we're 0-0.
How did they get up 1-0 and we don't? It's crazy.
I have this vision of like somebody listening to our podcast for the first time, and like they're like, "Why the hell do they keep on saying that the series is 0-0?"
I think we need to make 0-0 shirts. If we make it to the championship,
I was going to say, hold on, shirt idea. It's Mark Daigneault holding up the Larry O'Brien trophy, and underneath it, it's just a quote that says, "It's still 0-0."
We need that. We're gonna get. If you know an artist out there, that will help us with that,
And
please let us
it's
know.
Mark like with like sunglasses and the trophy and like a champagne bottle, like he's
Like,
like
we
you know,
need a
celebrating kind of
photo.
thing, and it says it's still 0-0.
If we can get it, I mean, obviously we'd like it before the parade, but a shot of him in the parade and then just cartoonize that with the trophy somehow.
I can't even picture what Mark Daniel
mean,
would be
that's
like at the championship.
I
parade.
think he's just gonna sit there like
He might skip it.
yeah, he's on the next
That's
season.
That's an off-season shirt right there. That's a great off-season shirt.
I like that idea.
He
We'll
might
put
be
that in
driving
the
the float.
bank. he's the chaperone for the day. Alex, what's your prediction? For game 3?
I think it's a close game. I think it is a closer game, but I think, you know, our experience with close games now, we break through, you know, at the end of that game and we win it by 3.
All right, bigger game. I'll be at a wedding on Saturday until
skip.
late. So yeah,
Skip
it's
it.
my cousin who is like my closest family relative. So it's gonna be hard to
Okay.
get out of that one.
It's also
Yeah.
also Thunder.
I tried
Game 3
to tell the bride to be, hey, it's game 3 of the Western Conference.
Well, you know
Finals.
what's
She
funny?
wasn't
So
having it,
my fiance and I are working on scheduling our wedding, and a date we're looking at is June 20th next year, and that would still kind of be around the time of the NBA Finals.
You've gotta tell her the
Dude.
ball is life, baby. You got
Well,
to
okay,
I
so-
mean, literally, hey, little Cone, you
just do
you
July.
do NBA stuff. Go July.
Just go July.
It just gets
In
so
Vegas.
It's still a summer wedding.
it just gets so hot.
In
It gets so
Vegas.
hot at that
It's
point.
fine. Go do a destination wedding in the north.
Not
You'll
do
be
a
fine.
destination wedding.
Yeah.
You know, a destination wedding is gonna be
Well,
hotter.
No, in the north. Go north. Go up. You'll be fine.
You're right. Go up. Yeah, my fault.
Yeah, just go up, brother.
Well, the
Yeah.
thing is, like this year, game one. Here are the NBA Finals dates. Game 1 is June 5th.
8th.
June 8th is game. Yeah, 8th, 11th.
So if it's like game
13th.
7,
13th, 16th, 19th. So it'd be like probably between games 6 and 7. And we get things done before anyways. So I'm fine. We'll go back to back in 4 games, and I'll go to the parade and be right back for the wedding. It's fine.
if we go to a game 7 next year, and it's like it's like a Kawhi, it's like the Kawhi shot for game 7.
If the Thunder are
against
playing
us.
that night, there will be a massive TV at my wedding with the Thunder game on. That's what there will be.
Oh, that'll be so high.
So
Yeah.
so tonight, I missed the game. This is the first game I missed this
Ooh.
Wow.
These
Family,
playoffs-
come on.
hold
now.
on,
Wow.
hold on.
Jeez.
My daughter graduated from high school.
Wow.
I think that is
Congrats,
excuse
but
enough.
wow.
But if we make it to game, like if there's a game, if we make it to the finals somehow after being 0-0 this whole playoff
Mhm.
run, if we make it to the finals and we make it to a game 7, or it gets to a game 7, not we make it, it gets to a game 7. I'm actually gonna miss that because I'm gonna be in Orlando because my other daughter has a volleyball nationals tournament in Orlando, Florida.
You
So-
you bring a laptop and you plop it down right
And
beside
you watch the volleyball game on the laptop and go to the game.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
exactly. That's what
Alex,
you do.
You bring your phone to
Priorities.
the game.
Yes.
Priorities.
Alex, listen, you've got a phone, man. You can stream stuff. So you bring the phone to the game and you stream her
There you go.
volleyball game
So what?
at the
You're-
Thunder game.
Is it? So what? She'll
You
remember
have
this
media
for the rest of her
Wi-Fi,
life.
dude.
Yeah.
You've got the media access Wi-Fi. Shut the hell up and go to the game. What the hell are we doing?
Your daughter will probably
What are we
never
doing?
forgive you for this, for missing it for an NBA game, but it's the NBA Finals, Alex.
Well,
Yeah.
Tierney, I want to say I met Alex's daughters. I was there like at the game. I said hey, and he introduced me to his daughters. And I told her, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like he mentioned this, and I said, all right, so Alex will be at the game and it'll be all right. And she said, yeah. So he's
Oh,
fine.
good. Okay, I'm glad.
Yeah,
Well, I got that conversation out of the way.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
yeah.
Alex, you were probably
Yeah.
distracted, but yeah.
He was thinking
Yeah,
about
it
how he kept thinking about how weird it is that it's still 0-0 after
Yeah,
game 2 of the
he was
Western Conference
confused.
Finals. He was confused. He was a little.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I'm
It
glad
was-
we did
I
that.
understand.
I'm
It
glad
was,
we cleared
it
this
was
all
the
up.
curly-haired one. That's the one that plays volleyball. So that's
You
the
talked to
I
that
have
one
know.
too, right, Cone?
Yeah. Well, she said yeah. And she said if Alex ever
On
came
behalf-
to my game over the Thunder game, I would never forgive him.
And I think she also said, on behalf of the rest of Alex's children, they also
There you
approve of the same
Yeah.
thing.
There you go.
I think
Except
Cone
for the
told me
one that
privately
graduated
before
today.
this.
She did not approve.
Hmm.
Oh
She
well.
was like, "Be here."
Well,
Didn't ask, don't care, ratio L, whatever,
There you go.
all that.
that's a man who's about to be married, folks.
Hell yeah.
In Game
All
6
right.
of the NBA Finals next year.
I'm gonna have to figure out how I do the wedding thing. I think I'm just gonna put a phone
you go.
at the reception table and just kind of like hide it. But we'll figure it out. But yeah, Saturday is game 3. We will be here. I will not be, but someone will be here.
Well, yeah, because you'll be at game 6 of the
I
final.
will be
or
at
game 3 of the West.
I'll be at the game. Yeah,
Finals,
and
you'll be in Minnesota.
Right, I'm traveling to Minnesota, skipping my cousin's.
The wedding is in Minnesota.
Yeah, not only are you not going to the wedding, you're like, I'm going to Minnesota instead to see it in person. Game 3.
I'm traveling, but not to your wedding to travel to.
They're like,
else.
you text, like, oh, my
They'll be
flight just
okay.
landed. They're like, oh, you're here. You're like, I'm in Minnesota. It's game 3 of the
Well,
Western Conference Finals.
yeah,
We're
it's
tied
in
0-0.
Tulsa.
They need me.
It's in Tulsa, so I think they'd be a little confused why I flew. Just be like, oh, I'm flying to Tulsa from Oklahoma City, and then somehow the flight got to Minnesota. Somehow I didn't.
Yeah, they're like, what do you mean a flight landed? And you're like, I'm at game 3 of Thunder
Yeah.
Timberwolves in the
Yeah,
Western
hello.
Conference Finals.
Yeah.
Your wedding is just a once in a lifetime thing. The Minnesota Timberwolves are playing right now.
Alex, idea. I'll send you a DM. It's from a fake like Lou Dort account, and I'm like,
Oh.
Alex Roy, it's a Lou Dort. We need you here. If you don't get here, I'm gonna shoot 0 of 10 from 3 this game. I need you here. And you show it to your daughter, and you
I'll
say,
be
look,
like,
it's Lou
look,
Dort.
It needs
Look.
like a bunch of spelling and grammar mistakes, like those scam ones. Just like make it super
Yeah, I'm gonna
realistic.
Yeah, Alex.
Like,
yeah, I got this weird DM the other day that said that Lou Dort needed
Yeah.
the 3 numbers on the back of my credit card.
he'd pay
I'm not sure
me.
what that's all about.
He'd pay me
All,
money to go.
all
to
the
the
letters in the middle of the word are capitalized, and the ones at the beginning
Yeah.
are all lowercase.
It's like a Bitcoin. It's a Bitcoin
Yeah.
code or whatever those are.
I got a DM from Lou Dort. He said, I lost the Rolex Shea got me, and I have to get it back before he finds out. Can you send me the 3 numbers on the back of your credit card to help
that
out?
was such a funny video. Them flexing their Rolexes.
Did you see the chat quote after the game where they asked what it's like to see Shea lift the MVP award? He's like, it's great. And he held up the Rolex and went for my wrist and like flashed it to the to the people.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Bro's got his boys Rolexes. I love it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right.
Apparently he got them iPhones too. Like he
Hey,
gave
he's-
them each like multiple iPhones.
Yeah, he's
Just
he's-
sick.
They're loaded. They're all loaded.
Yeah.
Shout out
They got a few dollars.
I don't know who all was at that Rolex thing, but if it was like Adam Flack, like some of those guys in the like aren't getting paid.
Brendan
as much.
Carlson.
Yeah, Brendan
Bro,
Carlson was there.
what a life for Nikola
What a
Jokic.
life.
This
What
man
a
got
life for those
drafted
guys.
into OKC, has
gets
like, hasn't
Rolexes
had to
and
play, and got a Rolex, multiple phones, and he's just chilling on a team that is about to go to the Western Conference Finals. Or is in
was
the
a-
Western Conference Finals, but it's tied 0-0, weirdly enough.
Yeah, it's weird. There was a photo of Lou Dort that came out from the Thunder admin account. He was holding like 3 phones. I was like, how many phones do these NBA players have? It's crazy. Yeah. Shout out all those guys and their new Rolexes.
I'm gonna need Lou Dort to stop hitting referees.
Yeah, that was
We
crazy.
we have goodwill and good grace with referees currently.
Bro,
Let's stop hitting the
the
referees.
Scott Foster bleeding everywhere.
They had the 3D animation of that too, because I was watching that stream, and it's just like they don't have faces. They just have like a gray amorphous head, and it was just you watch like Lou Dort's hand or like some guy's hand like smack a guy's face as he like goes back and then leans over, and it's just these amorphous blobs. It was
Honestly,
very funny to
shocked
watch that replay.
that's the first time I feel like I've ever seen that. I don't know how I feel like I've never seen that happen before. Because now that I think about it, they're right there in the
They're
middle.
very
Like, that's-
close. Yeah. I don't
You
get
know
that.
who you know who loved when that happened? Chris Paul.
Chris
In-
Paul
in-
sat
Shout out
courtside to see
CP3.
Scott Foster get popped in the face.
Oh,
This is probably the best day of CP3's life.
what
You
a
see
time.
Shea win the MVP, Thunder get a win, he got a standing O, and Scott Foster was bleeding on the court. It was a hell of a day for everything came up CP3 today.
There we
this
go,
might be the
baby.
best. It wasn't Shea with the best. It was CP3, man. He had
This is Chris Paul's ring right here.
Him and Perkins, shout out. They were at the game. So it's a couple Thunder legends.
CP
out there.
0 and 0. Let's go.
Shout out Perk, by the way, who said on like I don't know what it was. It was like a Zoom call where he was just like, yeah, Thunder didn't get to the finals till I showed up. It was like, yep,
And then
He's not
Katie
wrong.
quote tweeted him. Then Katie
The
quote
real-
tweeted him
Not
today
wrong.
and said, "Oh yeah, you're right. You were the real MVP."
the real MVP, Kendrick Perkins. That's who brought us to the NBA Finals lost.
Yeah. Oh, which by the way, speaking of Katie, Shea is the first Thunder player ever to have 5 straight 30-point playoff games. Not Katie, not Russ. Shea.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just like such a walk in the park. I just expect him to have 30 every night.
Yeah.
We're
Just
so
wakes
blessed.
up,
We're so blessed.
gets up, and scores 30 in the playoffs.
Also,
baby.
fake
Well, life is
fake
consistency.
Thunder fan Skip Bayless, who's been rocking a Thunder hat, talking about my Oklahoma City Thunder, tweeted out 11:18 p.m. I love the way that Shea, Chet, and Jay Will closed that game after Minnesota cut it to 10. Crucial big
No.
plays. It is J Dub.
Wow, we're still getting it wrong, and we're at this level of this team.
we
Tell
still
me you
can't
don't
figure
watch
it
the
out.
games without telling me you don't watch the games.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
Skip Bayless. I guess I shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'll stop rambling. Let's close this thing out.
Yeah, we went on like 5 tangents there, so let's finish up.
And they're all worth it.
It was a great like 20 minutes of podcast. So if you kept listening, thank you. I hope that was entertaining. Thank you all for tuning in. Forgot to mention at the beginning, but yeah, if you are here, please subscribe. I think we can get to 1K subs by the end of the playoffs. So
Let's go, baby.
Let's get that done. Thank you for watching. If you are here, like the stream. Comment down below predictions for Game 3. And we'll be back on Saturday for another recap. Until then, God bless. Hoop when you can. And as always, Thunder up.